Click on the system tray icon found in the lower right corner of your screen. Quit will turn off the Print Manager, and it will have to be manually restarted. As compared to pause scanning just temporarily shuts down the scanning function without actually closing the Print Manager. To quit or turn off the Print Manager, click on Quit. You will notice that the green system tray icon is no longer visible. To restart, you will need to find the Print Manager program. I will use the search function and type in Print and Color Manager. Then I'll click on it to start. You will see the green icon appear in the lower right hand corner along with the message that the Virtuoso Print Manager is restarted. To print a Creative Studio Designer image, you must first access Creative Studio Designer. Click on Creative Studio Designer. Log in as needed. Click Launch Creative Studio Online Designer. And then prepare your file for printing. Once your project or job is complete and ready to print, click on the Print button. Give it a name. If you wish to include the product bleed line to help you line up a substrate with the transfer paper when printing, click on Include Product Bleed Line. Then click OK. Now click here to print. This will open the Print Settings window. Here you will see the default values that were assigned in the Hot Folder Manager. If you wish to change any of the default settings, you can do so before printing this particular image. You can change the substrate as needed. You can change the paper, and this should match the paper that you're printing with. You can change the speed. You can mirror the image or unmirror the image. You can change the color settings. This should be graphic. You can make adjustments as necessary here, or use the default values for the color settings. And you can turn on or off the color palette. We suggest you stick with the default palette. If you would like to zoom in on the image, use the magnifying glass and then click and drag in the right hand corner. If you would like to add some additional images from the local drive, you can do so in this printing sequence. Use the plus button, find the image, click open, and it will bring it into your jobs queue. You can also set the quantity for the images that you're going to be printing. Click on the image, and then under copies, click the plus to add more images. Click the Material tab, and now choose Group Images. The Group Images function will automatically place the largest number of images possible on each page. You can change the page size as well, which may give you some different options for the layout of the images. Here you can see all images were placed on one sheet because I went to a larger paper size of 14 by 8.5. With a smaller paper size of 8.5 by 11, it took 2 pages to print all 3 images. If you would like to change the spacing between the images, you can use the spacing function and just use the plus value to increase that spacing. Once you're ready to print, click the Print button and it will send to the printer. With Creative Studio, you have a second option for printing, and that's to work from the Jobs folder. To access the Jobs folder, click on your Admin, click on Administration. The Jobs folder is where all print files are stored. If you would like to print multiple jobs at the same time, identify the jobs and place a check mark for each one. In this case, I'm going to work with the Vikings coaster. I'm going to use the Cracovia plaque and the Mavericks license plate. Once you've made your selections, click Print. This will open the Print Settings window. As before, you have the option of changing any of the default values, such as substrate. In this case, we're using Unisub products. Paper, make sure it is the paper that you're using. Speed and mirror can all be changed. At this point, the three jobs that were sent for printing are printing on separate sheets of paper. You can see here page 1 of 3, and if we cycle through, each image is on a different page. This may not be the most efficient way to print. Click on Group Images. Now the system will automatically try to place the maximum number of images on each page. Here you'll see a warning, one or more jobs do not fit with the current page settings. That's because 8.5 by 11 paper is what is selected, and one of the images is too large to fit that size paper. If we go into page size and make a change here, we can now accommodate all of the images, and now we're down to 2 pages instead of the original 3 pages. If you have the ability to print on 11 by 17, you can choose that as well. Still 2 pages, but it has been arranged differently. Click on the Jobs tab. Under the Jobs tab, you'll see the 3 jobs that we selected in Creative Studio and sent to the Virtual Print Manager. You can change the quantities of any of these jobs by going to Copies and using the plus. I'm now going to do 4 coasters, and I'll stay with 1 plaque, and we'll do 2 license plates. All the additional images have now been added in, and we have a total of 3 pages, which we can scroll through to see what the placement looks like. Go back to Material. If we want to change the spacing between the images, we can do so here. And you can see by changing the spacing, it may change the layout. In this case, it moves some of these images to another page and increased it to a total of 4 pages. We'll take some of the spacing away, and it arranges things differently. If you wish to zoom in, click on the magnifying glass and then click and drag in the lower right hand corner. You'll notice that all of these images were printed using the product bleed line, and that will show you a line for the edge of the substrate, which will help you when you line up the substrate with the transfer paper. If you need to change any of the color settings, click on the Colors tab. We can use Reset to assign everything back to the default values. All of these are graphic images, and that's what's selected here. You can use the default palette or not. We suggest you stick with the default palette. Once you're ready to print, click the Print button, and it will send the images to the printer. There are 3 methods for printing from your local system. The first is to open the system tray and use Open Local File. The second is to drop a graphics file in a hot folder. And the third is to print a graphics file through the virtual driver. We will start with the Open Local File function of the system tray. Click on it to open. Locate the file you wish to print. Click on it, then click Open. This will open the Print Settings window. Make any changes to the settings that you need, and then click Print to send it to the printer. You can also add additional images or jobs to this print sequence. Click on the Jobs tab and click on the plus to import additional images. Select the image that you wish to add, click Open, and it's brought into the Jobs folder. You can continue to add other images using the plus symbol. You can also change the quantity of the images that you're printing. Select the image and then use the plus symbol to add more images. You can use the arrow keys to see which images are on which pages. You can change the spacing between the images by clicking on Material and then clicking on the plus under Spacing. You can also change the paper size for additional layouts. For each change that you make with the layout, the paper size, or the spacing, the system will automatically recalculate how to position the images on the different pages. The second method is to drop a file in a hot folder. Create or open the file that you wish to print. Click File, click Save As, locate the hot folder you wish to print to, the default folder with the system is Virtuoso Hot Folder. Click on that, click on Open, provide a file name if needed, click Save. This will send your image to the Virtuoso Print Manager. You see that the print settings window has opened. Once the print settings window is opened, you can make changes to the substrate, the paper, the source, the speed, and the color. If you would like to add additional jobs to print at the same time, click on the Jobs tab. Use the plus key to import additional images. You can change the quantity by selecting an image and then using the plus next to copies. You can change the spacing between the images by clicking on Material and then clicking the plus under Spacing. You can also change the paper size to achieve different layouts. You can use the arrow keys to sequence through the different pages to verify how the images are placed. If you would like to zoom in, click on the magnifying glass and then drag from the lower right corner. This will zoom in on the chosen page. Once you're ready to print, click the Print button and it will be sent to the printer. The third method for printing from the local system is to print through the virtual driver. Open or create the file that you wish to print, click on File, click Print, and under the printer selections, find Virtuoso Virtual Driver, and then click Print. Once the print settings window opens, you can make changes as needed to the image before you send to the printer. You can also import additional images or jobs. Click on Jobs tab, click on the plus, and this will allow you to import other images from your local system. Click on the image, click Open, it brings it in. You can change the number of copies by selecting the image and using the plus button to put more copies in. You can also change the material settings and the color settings. Once you've made the changes and are satisfied with the results, click Print, send the image to the printer.